Hey everybody, my name is Rydo and today we're starting a series covering Back to Bed. Now, full disclosure, this game I already have covered. And I guess I should have double checked to see if I got this game for free or not. I might have. Let's go ahead and assume that there is that possibility that I got this in like a free game giveaway. I've never actually taken up the offer for a free game from game developers or publishers, and I doubt I ever would, but there are cases, certainly through Humble Bundle store or Twitter giveaways or other things, where games might just be free. There might be a free weekend on Steam, and that would affect my opinion a little bit. But honestly, the bigger bias is definitely going to be coming from the fact that I've already played this game and made 2 hours of footage and lost that footage. So we're in a very weird position and we're gonna have to put ourselves to a new challenge here. Back to Bed isn't, I'm gonna just straight up say, isn't that great of a game. I would say that their next game from Bedtime Digital seems to be a little bit better, but just from the trailer that I see over here. Now, this game is controller recommended, but if you have a mouse and you move the mouse around, the eyeball you're seeing here is moves around in that same way. So let's hop into the game. What this is a kind of simplistic surreal game, and you would have normally had to play it through the normal mode to finish it, or I could play it through well, you'd have to play it through the normal mode first, and then you unlock nightmare mode, where nightmare mode makes it more difficult, and in all honesty, less fun. The game is already slightly repetitive, and just doing the puzzles a second time. I guess we'll try nightmare mode. So we could, for instance, I guess, show off the first puzzle of the first mode, and then we'll just do a comparison here. The general idea here is pretty basic. I have no idea why this footage got lost either. It just did not record any of the video. So a man falls asleep. He has this dream dog with a human face that is trying to protect him in his dreams. So all the talking is backwards. So you play as this dream dog. You can pick up items like these apples. Here we can see a hole that will eat him. I guess we can leave that there. Meanwhile, we can do a few things. If he dies, you have to retry, but if he falls off the edge, he actually just falls to his initial starting position. He'll always move to the right. I can't like put an apple in the mouth, which would have been interesting. So I can do some tricks where now I'm a little bit taller and maybe I could reach some things, but they don't really implement this idea in any way. So yeah, there he just fell off the edge. We can zoom in with the right trigger, zoom out with the left trigger. You really don't have to do that very much. And there is a speed up button. Let's see where it is. It's A and X pick something up on the Xbox One controller. I imagine what you're supposed to do is something simply like this, where you bounce like this guy here, put an apple behind that area. And if you just right bump, you'll fast forward, which is super necessary. And if you left bump, I guess nothing happens. Start, of course, pauses and can affect things. So this is a cell phone game, and that explains kind of why the limited screen space is here. But a lot of these elements that we're seeing here don't matter. I just succeeded there. Also, it plays that lullaby music every time. So that's the first puzzle on normal mode, which we've already done everything here, so we might as well just try it on nightmare mode, where I think I got, I mean, you can barely even tell. I think I got to level 7 and then rage quit on nightmare mode. So let's see how nightmare mode plays out. Bob is a narcoleptic. Out the window they go. Like, narcolepsy doesn't really play a role. Bob doesn't really play a role. He's this non-player controller character. What happens is, over the course of the 2 episodes, they introduce ideas and forget them, and then reintroduce the same ideas. This is not the right level. Well, this is the right level. It's just I didn't pick the right level before. So in this case, the trick is a little bit more difficult, because you have to have Bob pick up the key first. But like that flying hat, the fact that ties are platforms, and if he dies, I believe he loses the key, right, too, and it replaces. The chimneys don't really mean anything. Nothing here means anything. It really just kind of falls down to an asset flip. And see, he did lose the key. It just took it a while to reset. So you almost have to reset twice, in this case, to even solve the puzzle if you die the first time. Then once you think you've got it, you fast forward. I'm gonna skip all the back to bed sequences because that's a waste of time, and because of that being an issue. I have no idea what level I picked. So if you're to take this for, this is the way the game is really supposed to have been played, with the nightmare mode. The problem then kind of breaks down when you realize that it's not really adding anything interesting to make these puzzles longer. It's just making it more complicated, but the gameplay mechanic didn't change any. And I think that's where this falls apart, is I particularly would like the gameplay mechanic. Alright, so I think what I'm supposed to do, and a lot of this may just come down to movement mechanics, where I don't particularly want him to go in the wrong direction. Well, that didn't work. So I'm gonna have to send him back and see if I can jump over on this edge. No, but I can get close enough to pick up this so that I have 2, and that certainly is gonna play a role. But I'm sending him in the wrong direction anyways. So we'll just turn him back around, go this way. You kind of have to know where things are. And A significant amount of this map not used. There's nothing you can do. You can't really go in the door. You can't hold an apple and take it in with you. The game just pauses at that point. And see, now it's asking for 2 keys. And already I wasn't happy with the idea of 1 key.
The stairs are not
Like, the funny thing about this, and this is definitely going to be hard for me to criticize a game like this, because like I did it once already and I would have been a lot more generous the first time, but because this is a mobile game, you're in this weird realm of how good do mobile games really have to be. And sadly, the truth kind of is not that good. Mobile games in general, there's no other apples around here, so I'm just gonna have to do like a fast maneuver. I'm gonna have to stand here, pick up an apple, and then put it down. See, he does not bounce into me at all. So I can totally walk around him. I don't trip him up. I don't interact with him at all. I just walk through him. When the Android operating system and Google and Apple first came out and started the revolution of really good smartphones compared to the total garbage that was available before then, which was Nokia phones with their own private handful of games, or Pocket PC phones or PDAs. And see, I guess I needed to knock him through there. I didn't even know that that was an issue. I didn't not even know that you could walk through these stairs. I guess that explains why these stairs are half transparent. So I've got to get this guy to walk back here, and that's just not realistic. It really isn't. Like, it's just not gonna happen. I'd have to bounce this guy here, make him walk all the way over here, bounce him back this way, try to get him to walk that way, be over here at some point, put this here, so then he would turn back around, and all with just 1 apple. And you can kind of see how it's nightmare already. So yeah, that's not gonna work. So we've got to cover this game somehow. Since we lost the footage, nightmare doesn't work. Let's go back here and start over again and see what went wrong. I selected the... I must have clicked on the wrong box, because now we're getting the right cutscene. Yeah. And this is all you get in cutscenes. There's like 2, maybe 4 of these. For a puzzle game like this, what I really would have liked on a mobile game is if this was constantly getting updated, had some procedurally generated, had a procedurally generated system. So without the key, it's super easy to solve this puzzle. It just gets really hard when you have to make him use the key, and it gets hard in the movement, which, let's be honest here, why is there a load screen? There's another good question. But on the controls, it's just showing you controls. There's no option here to make a faster, more responsive Xbox One controller. And see, these are just basic tutorial missions that got made a lot more difficult. I really wish there was a storyline here. And I suppose if I was covering this the first time, I wouldn't have really realized that there was no storyline. So that wouldn't have really been a problem. See, the idea here is to have him come all the way around. Yeah. And that buys you a considerable amount of time as he's walking. And that's the whole point here, is to have you play slowly at the beginning and then have to use the fast forward movement. When I think about a game like Cross Sales or some of the other single screen Unity games, because while this is more polished than what you normally would see for a single screen Unity game, that's still kind of what this is a single screen Unity puzzle game that just has a little bit more assets in it, has perhaps a little bit more music and a little bit more polish on it, but it really goes nowhere. And I've seen games made by students, I've seen games made by a single person, I've seen games made by two people. They are considerably more of a video game than what this is. Alright, let's see. The roll here is way easier. All we have to do is that. And then we do that. And then we solve the puzzle. And to be completely honest, the first time I covered this, it took about 2 hours to cover at 30 minutes an episode. Well, now I'm going to cover this at, I think, a considerably shorter. I need it to still be 4 episodes to fit into timelines, because now I'm having to record this to fill in the gap. But these are going to be shorter episodes, because you can see I'm kind of breezing through this. This game really needed new mechanics. In all honesty, if I didn't need 4 episodes, I would really just do a single 30-minute spotlight and this would be it. But we'll run through all of these, I suppose. And that'll get you halfway if you needed to see the solutions. Not that you really need to see the solutions. So this is just like a magic door that he can walk through and you can walk through. All this clock symbology, the apple, the hat, it's based off just like a very basic understanding of having seen some pictures, some famous paintings. It tries to be kind of surreal, but it doesn't go very hardcore with it, so you really don't have anything Salvador Dali-esque here or anything like that. It's pretty generic. To be fair, if you went Salvador Dali-esque, it would be potentially a little bit not family friendly for no reason. So I can kind of understand that. But then also they try to throw in the idea of some MC Escher art, but that really doesn't mean anything either. Like, you're getting single lines of dialogue. I suppose it's nice that the developer of this game didn't just stick with this. And by the way, yes, I do recognize that those videos are not airing at actually 1080p, so there's little bars on the sides. So, like, the most complicated part of these puzzles is simply to find where the apple is to begin with. And so he'll land on an apple, which, okay. So that just means I have to bounce him back. And the fact that you can move faster than him is absolutely necessary. But also the fact that you can you can pick up things from a distance is something that becomes very necessary. And see, I don't think I really have to do anything here. There's not really any trickery here where you can drop an apple from a different angle, so walking up these walls stops being anything of importance. And so that's where I think we're gonna leave this. If we go back here and look, how far did we get? We did, I guess, we did 9 out of 15 very quickly on the main one for the first episode. I would really hate to find out that this game sold for like $5 and then you had to pay another $5 for Harbor Hazards, because boy does it not really change anything. In fact, it just introduces characters that are exactly the same as previous characters in some places. We can see that there's 15 here too. That is an incredibly small number of puzzles. And then you have, I guess, the same 15 puzzles repeated, and I only made it up to 7 for just, yeah. And then you have like these same 15 puzzles here repeated. And this game does have Steam achievements, but it hardly is an easy, it's hardly a achievement game that you could easily get 100% achievements on, because you have to muddle through the boring long game puzzles. Alright, yeah, so we're at the end of this episode. I can tell this is going to be a negative one, so apologies, but as a content creator, probably the worst thing that can happen to you, the thing that will put you in a bad mood and put a sour taste in your mouth for any game, is having to play a game a second time, particularly if you didn't want to in the first place. I basically rage quit this game in the first place when I was covering it, because I didn't want to finish all of the nightmare stuff. I will say that this video, that's not really a video right now, but sometimes there's a video in the lower left hand corner, which would have been patched into the game as if the game was getting more support or more puzzles. I think most content creators, well, most video game creators should have at least the decency to add at least one new puzzle or something before, while they're adding while they're adding ads to their game. But also, I think if you've bought a game, you should feel the right, you should deserve and demand that you're not given advertisements to other games in your paid for product. So apparently it's like a YouTube video or something for this game, Figment. Figment does look a lot like a game I've covered before called Bastion. It does look like it is a lot more of a game and not just a assortment of 30 puzzles that have two different solutions, a hard solution and a nightmare a normal solution and a nightmare solution. They've also painted themselves in a corner calling themselves Bedtime Digital Games. That's not terrible. You could keep that name without it being a problem. But then there is also something weird about the interface. Like, I am moving the controller right now, trying to highlight play. I have no idea where the controller went. Seems like you can just move the highlight downward off the screen for some reason. That makes no sense. And you can also move it left for no reason. So we can look at the options here and just, yeah, the controls will show the mapping, but that's all you can do. And the resolution is at 640 by 480. Wonder why that's the case. Well, normally I would correct that. Certainly I would correct that, but heck, this is working and I already lost the footage once before. So, yeah. I mean, what does it really matter in the long run? This game was originally on cell phones and probably running at 640 by 480, if not lower. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this episode. We're going to just burn through in the next 3 episodes the main game, and that's kind of all it's going to be. And if you don't want to do that, come back in a few days and there'll be another game for me on my channel, or very possibly the end of the year Steam wishlist cleanup series, which is not so much a game but window shopping and cleaning up the Steam wishlist, which talks about lots and lots of games, about 2,000 games that I'd like to cover throughout the career of my YouTube channel. That's going to be it for this recording, and as always, despite my bickering and just saltiness, I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites like Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And I would like to ask you to support my channel. There's 2 ways down below. You could support me through the Patreon link, or you can friend me on that Steam and look at that wishlist and gift me a game that I would like to cover. That's very, very helpful. Or you could just give me a game you'd like to see me cover, even if it's not on the wishlist. Or if you don't want to make a decision, you can also gift gift cards. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.